creation and the image that they have, we don't play that particular role. So the narrations indicate that the reason why these people will be punished is because they will be expected to give a soul to the creation because they're imitating Allah Jalla Jalaluhu. He's the only one who creates and fashions in this fashion. So they say, look man, when you draw or you sculpture something, then you're actually doing that. You're being deliberate in imitating the quality of Allah, which is that of tasweer or creation. But they say, when you take a picture with a camera, it's nothing. You know, it doesn't take an hour for you to draw, or you don't have to get any tools. You just, you press a button and boom, there's a picture. Well, the Shaykh said in response to that, he said, listen, that doesn't make any sense. Actually, that is more severely prohibited. Why? Because the illah is that you are trying to resemble the creation of Allah. You're making an image like that of Allah's creation. And there's nothing more accurate than a picture. You see? The picture tells you how, you may make a mistake while drawing, you may make his nose too big or his ears are too wide or something along these lines. But when you take a picture, that's the brother right there. So now that's even more severe. Number one. Number two, they say, listen, the idea is not about the method, the idea is about the result. And they said, let me give you an example. Is having a statue halal? Making a statue, is it halal to sculpture? They said no. He said, fine. Let's say you don't go through the effort to buy a machine. That if you press a button on the machine, it will produce for you a statue. Does that make it halal? He said no. He said, so now it doesn't matter how you bring it about. The idea is the result. That's a strong argument now. Many people may disagree with that, and if they're following a fiqh position that they truly believe this is right, then their affairs with Allah, and Allah knows the intention. But if not, then this is a very strong position. And the problem with that is that when we open this door, many problems have resulted due to this, this idea of that taking pictures is halal. Among them is, people now instead of going for Hajj to worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, they're all Hajj's pictures. And I've seen this with my own eyes. It is sad. And when the brothers who were in charge before did not have this lenience in this aspect, the brothers had more acts of worship to focus on. When the people in charge started taking it easy with taking pictures, the whole Hajj became taking pictures. Brothers posing near the Kaaba, posing near the... You're going to worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you're not in Hollywood. So I started calling him Hollywood. Leave Hollywood alone. Leave Hollywood in Hollywood. You're coming to worship Allah, you're doing Hajj, you're doing Umrah. You're not coming to take pictures so you can send it back home. Wallah, people before us survived. The brother will leave his country living Allah knows where, traveling on a camel all the way to do Hajj. He did not need to take a picture to show it to his wife when he goes back. They survived back home, he survived in his Hajj. That's number one. Number two, the idea of hanging pictures. The ruling, let's say we disregard the ruling, is it okay to take with the pictures with the camera or not? That's one thing. Regardless, can you have a picture in your house? No. إِنَّ الْمَلَائِكَةَ لَا تَدْخُلُ بَيْتًا فِيهِ سُورَةً. The Prophet ﷺ said the angels do not enter a house that has an image. And the scholars have agreed. Even those who differed about the ruling of camera pictures, they have not differed about the fact that if you have a picture at your house, no angels for you. Now I know you look good when you graduated, and you like everybody to see how you looked when you were, back at 18 years old. But akhi, you are kicking the angels out of your house. Who cares how you look? If when you're going to go to the grave, you're going to look nasty. You see, worms are going to go in your eyes, they're going to go in your mouth, you're going to be rotten, nothing. So you want to look good live, but you don't have to look good in a picture and keep the angels out of your house. And then the problem becomes worse when they want to put the picture of their daughter. And then, guests come over, say, oh, this is your daughter, oh, mashallah. Very beautiful. Ya Shaykh. Ish hada? Look, no, take it down. Right at 18 when she graduated everything. Wallah, mashallah. See, people then, they take it easy, so then the father's like, yeah, jazakallah khair. Man, come on, man. So then, though, I'm sorry, but just giving you some things so you can wake up. Sometimes you forget. So, whatever the case may be, no pictures hanging in your house. If you need a passport picture, iqamah picture, this is where the religion is easy. You can now walk around without an iqamah and a picture on it, otherwise you're going to go ma'as-salam. So then they say, because of darura, now because of necessity, the religion is easy, ya Shaykh. They will take their responsibility. Or there's a concession that this is allowed because of the nature of life now. Because if you don't have a picture, you may claim to be someone else. Many criminals exist today that societies have changed. So I'm not saying that this is wrong. Some of the scholars say if there's a criminal, it may become necessary or an obligation for you to draw an image of him so they can catch him. So that's a whole other ruling. Regardless, Akhwan, and brothers and sisters, the idea of taking I suggest, I advise you for the sake of Allah, and I will give you something at the end of the khutbah, the end of the lecture, which may allow us to get over some of these issues that have difference of opinion regarding at least the camera. For now, just be on the safe side. If you have any pictures at home, take them down. Just take them down. You don't need them. You don't need them because the scholars say, لا خير في بيت لا تدخله الملائكة. There's no goodness in a house that the angels don't enter. And when the angels leave, who's going to come? Ash-shayateen. So you're going to be with the shayateen all day, screaming and yelling and fighting with each other and throwing your children out the window, then picking them up downstairs after a few minutes. Life will be hectic. I'm sure you don't throw your children out the window, but you may reach this point due to your anger because there's shayateen in the house, whispering to everyone to become displeased with the rest of the family members. So then we don't need any pictures. I hope you leave that alone. Inshallah ta'ala. Mixing between men and women. Mixing between men and women, let me explain. Some will say, hey, what are we doing now? No, akhi, misunderstanding of the deen. In the masjid of the Prophet ﷺ, they didn't have upstairs. And the sisters were not behind a partition, the sisters were behind the brothers. So let's get things clear. This is the deen of Allah, the Quran, the Sunnah. We don't care about culture, people's opinion. Again, khalli walli. What does the deen of Allah say? That's what we will abide by. In terms of mixing, what is intended is that you don't have a sister sitting next to you now. You see? You don't have a row of sisters in front of you and a row behind you where we're all sitting with one another. This is what is intended by mixing. But we wish to have it better than this, by the way. But Allah musta'an, this is the best we were able to do. But this right now is not the ultimate sense of mixing that we are speaking about. We're speaking about mixing where people mix as you see them today in the hospitals and other places where it is totally normal for a brother and a sister to be sitting in the same office, a doctor and his nurse, alone. Or they mix with one another all the time. Not because they're attending a lecture, not the sister sitting in the back hiding and the brothers in the front. No, they're sitting with each other, talking to another as if everything is nice and normal. This is what is intended by mixing. And we have many evidences from the Quran and the Sunnah. One of them is وَإِذَا سَأَلْتُمُوهُنَّ فَاسْأَلُوهُنَّ مِنْ وَرَاءِ حِجَابٍ ذَلِكَ أَطْهَرُ لِقُلُوبِكُمْ وَقُلُوبِهِنْ. Allah says regarding asking women for things, if you ask them from behind a partition. This is better for your hearts and their hearts. Ibn Kathir rahmatullahi alayhi, when explaining this ayah, he said, the same way Allah is telling us, the same way I forbid you to enter into their room, I forbid you also to look at them if you want something from a sister. If you want something from her, to take something from her, you don't look at her. And if you want to ask her for something, then it is preferred that you do so from behind a partition. Why? This is pure for your hearts and their hearts, to the best of our ability. To the best of our ability. The Prophet ﷺ said regarding this, the best rows for the men are the front rows, and the worst ones are the back ones. Whereas the best rows for the women are the back ones and the worst ones are the front ones. Why? Because this is the point of contact. This is the closest point of contact where in the house of Allah, where the last thing on your mind is anything besides worship, supposedly. So then we know that this, and I'm speaking about what we do back home. I'm not speaking about here. I'm speaking about when you go back home and then the whole family comes over and then everybody sits with everybody. This is the mixing that we are trying to avoid. Brothers and sisters sitting in the same, not brothers and sisters in blood, Muslims sitting with one another in one big room as if everything is normal.